Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to GuildGab. This is a show all about Guild Wars 2, and this is episode 95, if you can believe it. We've been doing this for quite a few years, and it's so much fun. Today, we're going to talk about the update that came out on Tuesday. It is episode 4? No, I messed that up. Woo! Yeah, it's okay.
Close one.
It's a close one. I did it. I always do that. I don't know why I even say episode numbers. Season 4, episode 1, Daybreak. We're going to talk all about it. But first, let me introduce my wonderful co-hosts, RPG Alex, CorvusPlays, and our special guest for today, Deroir Gaming. Hey. Here, all the way from the Fractals of the Mists, and he is not Nasura. We have learned.
Not today. Not today.
So Atosk, when are you gonna get your name changed for breaking the law rule and naming yourself after an NPC?
Ooh. That's a good yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with that. It's actually funny. I've considered changing my my YouTube name for the longest time, but now I can't ever do that.
No, you can't ever.
I'm stuck with this forever and ever. Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen, there is a new NPC that does account upgrades related to the Fractals in the Fractal of the Mists, and ArenaNet has chosen to name him after Deroir. He's named Deroir, so
is not
cheap. No. I'm an expensive one.
Classy and expensive.
Yeah, I approve of that though. Like that is A plus right there. Not gonna ever complain about that. Funny enough though, like even I, after having played Fractals for like years, I can't get the max tier at all. I can't even pick myself off. Yeah, no. I'm only on tier 2. I'm close to getting upwards of tier 3, but yeah, I'm nowhere near the Fractal God title.
For everything?
For everything, I forget what tier 1 and 2. Tier 2 was 25,000 relics and 1,200 pristines.
1,200 pristine.
Yeah. Tier 3 is 2k pristine and 45,000 normal relics.
That's
and then the last one is like 55,000 or something. But the title for the last one is, it's good. It's Fractal God.
Fractal God. Ooh.
I need it. I need it.
You need it.
Yeah. The third one is Fractal Champion, but Fractal God. Ooh, yeah, that's the sweet spot.
Well, I want to start with talking about some of the quality of life updates that were right in the patch notes. Because they increased rewards, not only that account, the account unlockable upgrades that you can get for Fractals now, but they increased Fractal rewards overall, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of made it more rewarding.
Well, there's something that I didn't realize, that if you went over Fractal 90, they punished you with the karma rewards. I had no idea that was a thing.
It's always been like an inside thing where like the people that were running it for the longest time kind of knew to avoid the lower levels, but you never really talked about it because it was never really that big of a deal. But the karma you get now is just insane. It really? Genuinely is. Yeah. I think I got like 12,000 today just for doing dailies.
What for the
tier 4 dailies?
Oh,
mate! Like you just get like an extra. It was like 12k or something, and that's just from you get little what's it called, like potions or whatnot.
Yeah.
And 12k.
That's really good.
Nice.
Pretty insane. They've added like random fractal relics in here and there as well. It's really good. You get small splashes of extra relics. Yeah.
That's a really good change.
Yeah, hopefully it'll incentivize more people to do Fractals, because I still hear people who say, I've never done Fractals, they don't know really what they are, they're intimidated by them because they hear about, oh, it's like raid level, they added a Fractal and it's like doing a raid, or it's harder than a raid, and there's challenge mode.
Well, it's like, you know, ascended gear, like a agony resistant, like all of this stuff that I think puts a lot of people off, but like
this may be
like actually really easy to get into. Like
it's maybe like 2 or 3 instances that are actually almost raid difficulty. I'd argue Swampland at tier 4, and like the Nightmare Fractal, the second to last boss on the Nightmare Fractal, and the Observatory. It's like the rest you can pretty much cheese even at tier 4, as long as you sort of at least have a bit.
You gotta know what you're doing, be geared, you know. But
gotta have those. Kill proof and.
But for anybody who's watching who doesn't do fractals, maybe you're new to the idea. Yeah, you know, start off 1 through 20. You don't need AR, you don't need ascended armor. You know, you can just go in and it's like mini dungeons. So you can, you know, you need those 5 man. You need 4 friends, but you know, just jump in there. You know, 1 to 20 is you know, that's kind of like the warm up. That's the practice. You know, they're easy. So yeah, jump in and try them sometime, and now they're even more rewarding. So it's awesome.
They're super rewarding.
Yeah.
And once you get an easy way to ascend a gear. Yeah. Super easy ascended gear.
I mean, it's actually funny because most of the currency that you use on the ascended gear and stuff, which if you're new to it, you should definitely prioritize, like get the ascended stuff. But all of those are now put into the large sinks of the account-wide augmentations. So it's like, yeah, you kind of got to weigh your options. Yeah. Do I want cool stuff or do I want a cool title kind of deal?
Yeah.
But yeah, the account augmentations aren't that like they're not that impactful. Just FYI, like if you're new, if you're getting into it, don't even go for the mist potions or anything. Just like get into it, like try it out, and then get your free ascended stuff. That's the yeah.
It can feel like a really slow treadmill when you get started, can't it? Because obviously you've got the agony resistance gate, and then when you get up to tier 2, then you start encountering the agony, and then we don't talk about the bit between tier 2 and tier 4, and then.
But it gets you into it. It gets you into it gradually. Alex.
I mean,
what it is.
Alex. You're being such an elitist, Alex. Jesus.
I'd rather do tier 2 for less rewards than do tier 3. I really would.
Wait, is it are you referring to the instabilities or?
No, I'm referring to the player base.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not necessarily the player base. It's just that the difficulty spike between 2 and 3 is much more.
Alex, you just got to get good, man.
I think
we've had this conversation.
I can clear tier 4s with my guildies.
I can kind of get behind you, Alex. Like to your defense, it's like from tier 2, between tier 2 and tier 4 is where the real spike hits, and that's where players actually have to learn all the mechanics. So that's where you kind of a lot of players will kind of hit that wall of like not actually knowing what's going on, but they still kind of want those rewards. And it's very important that the players that actually want to like get into fractals kind of push through those levels, even though they are like they can be a bit of a pain at that point. But if you really want to experience the fun, then it's on tier 4.
Yeah, I actually jumped straight from tier 2 to tier 4. I just racked up my AR and I just dived right in. And it's like, I mean, I was carried hard from mechanics and got used to the instabilities. But yeah. I think that's a better way of doing it. I think you can find a much more as long as you're not hitting like the challenge modes. I think you can find.
I think it's key you have people to do it with though. Like if you're going on LFG and jumping straight into like T4 without really knowing what to do, then you know it's probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
If you've got people to do it for, and
I still have no idea what I'm doing in fractals. I feel like a total noob. Like, wow, where are you standing there, PG? I'm like, I don't know where to stand.
So what do we think about the new Fractal?
The new Fractal.
Oh, it's good.
It's a throwback.
It's good.
Throwback. It's Elonian history.
Yes. I've only done it on tier 1 so far.
All right.
I played it on like tier, I don't know if we did 2 or 3. But basically, you are a Morden Crescent. You play as a minion of Palawa Joko. And this is in the past, so you're reliving Elonian's history, Elona's history. And it ties into the new map, the Domain of Istan, because you're actually, you know, you're going into an Istan city and taking it over. And the characters from, you have Amala, is that her name?
Yeah.
You have Priestess Amala, who is a dervish, who the throwbacks to and references to dervishes in this patch were just amazing. Super satisfying for Guild Wars 1 players especially. So you have her. She appears in the past as her human self in the Fractal, and you have to fight her. And it kind of shows Paolo Joko's taking over of her. And then she's also in an open world meta event in the map, and then she's also in the story. So this is a very recurring character throughout the patch, and I loved the links together. It's like, I know you, I know her.
The tie-in was really good.
Oh, so good.
It's the events that it's basically the events that took place between Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2. So it's not like not a whole lot of players wouldn't necessarily know what actually happened. We've basically just been told that Paolo Joko kind of went and killed all the Sun Spears, and this is just the telling of it, which is really cool. Like I really loved the tie-in. It was a really cool Fractal.
It's like really the Askel on Fractal. I always really liked, you know, just seeing this kind of moment in history like portrayed, and I like the idea of them doing this more, like going back to certain key moments and potentially even Guild Wars 1 situations that like maybe they weren't able to properly put us in the role of. Like it'd just be super cool, and I think it's a good way for people who are, say, new to Guild Wars or coming in just from Guild Wars 2 to kind of experience that stuff. And I was kind of worried that they weren't going to do much more of like more historical stuff, but you know, we had like the Nightmare Fractal, which was kind of a throwback referencey type of thing to the tower, and then this one. So I'd love to see more of this stuff. What's the difficulty like? Is it how does it compare to the like observatory and stuff? I'm
a big fan of what the difficulty is for this one, because it really, like, I did it on the tier 4, and it's very reminiscent of some of the like standard fractals, some of the old fractals, where it's like, you run through, you do a quick event here or there, you can skip here and there, kill this champ, go here, blah blah blah, and then at the end you have this boss that isn't insanely hard. Like it's, and I may offend a few people here, but it's kind of a learn to play kind of deal, because it's one of the few fractal bosses that actually have a series of mechanics that you actually gotta learn, but they're not that punishing. They're not as punishing as, say, 99 and 100 CM. It's not like if you miss the mechanic, you will die, but you will get like knocked back or like take a little hit. So it's a very good progression up, like from what's the standard fractals to like the CMs, which are like way beyond that.
I mean, like I said, I only played it at level 1, but it was I think you're right. It felt like the old school kind of fractal where you end up at a boss and you have to do a couple of bits and pieces. Like it was like Peachy said, because Amar's a dervish, you get that. There was a thing in Guild Wars 1 where you could get these elite skills that were they were like, what were they called? Oh, they were
the avatars.
The avatars of the gods. And then as you go around, you have to like destroy like a priestess of each one of the gods. And I don't actually know what happens if you fail it. I assume you either wipe or you get a lot of damage, or
I think you wipe. I don't know. We wiped once. Like we were basically just like, let's bounce our head against it and see how much damage we take, and then we wipe. But I don't remember what we actually wiped from. Just for the fun of it. But it's really good.
It's a cool boss, and
I've actually been really missing that dungeon feel, because some of the newer ones, like 99 and 100, they feel like mini raids. I know a lot of people have used that term. It's like mini raids. It's like boss, and I really like the dungeon feel of like doing an event. And boss.
I think it'd be smart for them to keep swapping between, because there's people who like that dungeon feel, and there's people who like the raid feel. I really liked that the last two fractals had the raid feel, and they started introducing more of the raid mechanics with all the telegraphs and everything. You have to stand certain places and do certain things, so it felt very raid-like, which is content that I really enjoy. But I'm glad that they went back to this. You have a little bit more of like an open map that you can explore, rather than having, like you said, boss, basically. There's things you can explore for achievements in the other ones, but this one felt more open. Like you get this entire city, because that's what you're doing as the Morden Crescent. You're going in with all of these awakened, you know, Joko is actually there. He kind of walks along with you. He has his like armies and his minions.
Have you guys talked to him? Have you
Yes!
tried talking to him at the beginning?
Yes, you could talk
Like,
to him, and he's like, "No,
didn't
talk.
actually.
This is not. This isn't
You
doing
talk.
anything."
You talk to him and he insta-downs you.
He does.
Oh, okay.
He's like, peasants, do not
He
address
doesn't
me.
give a fudge.
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
no. He downs you, and he's like, "Were you saying? Did you have anything else to say?" And you're just like, "No, praise Joko."
What's really interesting is
great.
I didn't realize this until I read it on I read it somewhere that Palo Joko is voiced by Nolan North, who did him in the
Yeah,
first
that's
game.
right.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, and is human male as well.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize
yeah.
that.
Yeah, he's back in the
He's
game.
going to be a big
But
character in season 4.
He is. It's just
It's
a
only
shame.
gonna escalate from here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
properly.
It's just a shame that I hate the character model for him because I love him.
Do you really?
I think it's good.
Yeah,
I really think it's really good.
I think it's good,
too
but-
much like the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, but that's his thing.
That's just his
his
design, though.
thing.
Like-
Yeah, that's his
I'd like
thing.
to see
Being
more
being a
intricate,
human
like,
walking Eiffel Tower.
That's his thing now.
Yeah. I don't know. He kind of has to be this like. Oh, okay.
Sorry,
This
that was
kinda,
just my mug against my microphone.
flamboyant, kind of like super decorated corpse, and I really like the way that they've done it. It's just like he's just got everything on his face and
Yeah.
body. Yeah,
must
I
say,
really
did
like
wa-
it.
Yeah, I did warm in the episode. I did warm to him a lot more than I did in Path of Fire. Like,
Yeah,
He
I
wasn't
remember you
really
being
in
quite
Path of Fire that
disappointed.
much. We only interacted with him in the one instance in the
Yeah.
Domain of the
I
Lost.
remember.
He was great in that instance.
Yeah, see, Alex, I remember you complaining. Yeah, I think you didn't like. Was it the voice work or
it
something?
was the
lack of
voiceover of
anime.
Palo Joko that I wasn't keen on in the Domain of the Lost. I don't know, his voice just didn't.
I think you
fit
had
quite
certain
right, but
expectations for his
I
voice.
did.
That
Maybe
for you.
that's just me that I had flavor.
I don't remember having any
expectations from Joko.
expectation. I don't remember having any. His voice was fine. Didn't have any disappointment. I wish he was a little more imposing. Whether that means he's a little bigger, because usually sometimes some of the more prominent characters or bosses are like just physically bigger. They
Yeah.
have a more a bigger presence in the world. So I think maybe and he is a little bit bigger. I guess it depends on what like race you're playing. But maybe if they made him a little bit bigger, or gave him, I still think they need to give him more animations.
Yeah, see, that was one thing I didn't like too much when we saw him before. But it kind of reminds me of like a tonic or something right now.
Oh,
Just kind of like a.
I actually
Standing
kind of
around.
like that he's one of the smaller ones because it gives credence to the fact that he's not this big overpowered superhuman god being. He's just like an undead dude who
Yeah.
he's got a lot of power, but he's not necessarily.
he's not like
just
Balthazar,
show-
who's like 3 times his
Yeah,
size.
exactly. Yeah.
It's not.
I think that's
flame-
good as well because it means like, a lot of people were worried. I don't think it turned out that way, but people were worried that like fighting Balthazar would just end up kind of demeaning the fact that he's a god in a way. I know he was powered down, but it's like such an iconic big deal that if we were quite easily able to defeat him, it would have been bad. But obviously that didn't happen in the end. But like, in terms of it feeling like that, but I think it's good that he is just kind of a guy, and I feel like maybe he probably would be quite easy to take down, just to
That-
contrast all of the,
Yeah.
the
I feel
history.
like that's kind of the thing with him. Like
Yeah.
he has to be this character that we can actually get in the character of, so to speak. And
Yeah.
instead of this elder dragon force, he actually has personality. He actually has something that we can, or a goal that we can kind of empathize with, or whatever. And I feel like
Really-
they're doing a lot of work to flesh out the character. And I
think
really
that's really good, and they've been doing that more and more because we had Zaitan, who was just this force of nature, and then we had we had Scarlet, who had tons of personality, and I think she was one of the greatest villains for that reason, and had tons of backstory. And then we had Mordramoth, who was still this force of nature because we were still doing the go after the dragons thing, but they gave him that voice, so he had this menacing,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say personality, but
I see it. No,
you-
I think I personally think that like Mordramoth is probably like the weakest villain we've had in Guild Wars 2. I feel like Zaitan did a much better job just having like things like the eye and the mouth and this more like kind of armada feel to taking him down and that kind of slow progression. The personal story is not great, but like, you know, I think they illustrated his character like through other means a lot better. While Mordremoth was, I don't know, there should have maybe been a bit more interaction or more of a dialogue even.
I may actually, I kind of feel the complete opposite.
Really?
I remember coming to like the first time around when I saw Saitan, I was even as like somebody just getting into the game at that point, I was really disappointed with the size because it hadn't.
Yeah, no, I was as well.
And he was like, it was basically like you had built up to this moment of like grandeur, and you had to kill this dragon, and then he was just like hanging on the wall, and I was.
And it was like, oh, he's far away. That's why.
All that menacing feel and like build up, it kind of just like drowned right there. And I didn't feel the same with Mordremoth.
Maybe that's why they didn't show it. They didn't make Mordremoth an actual dragon.
Yeah, I think that
he was.
But are we talking about Mordremoth and Dragonstand or Mordremoth and?
Well, apparently in the Path of Fire map, what is that? The Domain of Abbey. They actually say that Mordremoth impaled his head on a spike. So they're kind of confirming that.
Oh.
Yeah,
that was,
they're kind of confirming that was Mordremoth.
I'm still salty that you don't have to. They should have made us complete that meta event before going into the final instance.
Oh no,
it would have been so good.
It would have been. Oh no.
And at the start, yeah, it would have taken ages. Can't progress because of this.
No, what if
like it would have been cool?
What if like 3 years down the line from Heart of Thorns, no one did Dragonstand anymore? Let's say for the sake of argument, if you could get crystalline ore from somewhere else and it was easy to get, like no one would run Dragonstand.
Okay, right, no. Okay, right. If they had done an instance, which was the same like meta boss fight, but just scaled for like a party size or one person, like a soloable version of it as an instance, it would have been this whole like you're working your way into his kind of hideout and then into his mind after doing that. It would have been cool. I get they went to the whole he's distracted outside thing, but like I don't know, it would have been cool.
I think what they were actually missing was just that they had to have that the worm head in the actual Dragonstand meta event. They had to have that model present in the event, because you're like running in the actual event where you're leading up towards the fight area. Like I think it's the event before you actually go in and fight Mordremoth. You run along the entire side of the Dragonstand arena, and they should just have that like giant worm spiraling around the tower while like just off in the distance.
Yeah, that would have been
so much more fitting.
Cool. Yeah,
that would have been cool.
But I don't think we're here to talk about Heart of Thorns.
Exactly.
Well, where I was going with that train of thought was
there.
Mordremoth introduced a little bit more of the personality, a little, like I said, a little tiny bit. But then they said, okay, well, let's switch off the dragons into Balthazar. Well, it was like Lazarus and Caudicus, so they were definitely getting more of the, okay, it's an actual, like, it's not a dragon, it's not a force of nature, it's like a person. But they were still these, like, overarching, these big, like, these gods. Because then there was Balthazar, and he had some personality. But now we have Joko, and I totally agree with you that he has loads of personality. Yeah, and cool. I think we're gonna go back to like a Scarlet level of personality and power.
I sincerely hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that was great, and we can kind of relate, to he has his cause, and he's doing this for his cause. And as we saw in the story, he's just getting more powerful. He's taking advantage of technologies that he didn't have, in the past. So
there's actually a Scarlet comparison I want to discuss later on when we get there, as we talk through the story.
Actually, just one last thing to mention about the new Fractal. Did you guys notice when almost at the start when you run in as the Morden Crescent? Dessa says in like your ear or like the speaker, she says, I know this feels bad or this looks bad, but we can't change the past. Blah, blah, blah. I love that detail.
She was just like, you've just got to get on with it.
Yeah, just get on with it. You're playing as the bad guy, and you're gonna kill all of your friends right in front of you. It's all good. You can't change it.
That hurt me in the Ascalon Fractal too.
Yeah,
so I was like, no, we're playing as the bad guy. We're doing it again.
So where do we start?
Let's go to
much.
The first instance. You have to do the first instance to get to the new map. which is Isten. Ooh. And
Nobody
so
saw that coming.
We we start out in Amnoon, and it is overrun by branded. And I love when you first go in, we get that line from the trailer. Okay, first of all, and I've had discussions with this on stream with my community. I'm curious what you guys think. When Ritlock says, you know, we just fed Kralkatorrik the power of a god. So he's kind of like saying, we're kind of screwed here. Like, oh my god. When he says we fed him the power of a god, how does that tie back to, I'm confused on where that god power is coming from, because I thought he was stripped of most of his god power, which is why he was in the mist.
Bloodstone magic, essentially, right? And the stuff he got from Primordus.
I actually thought about this for a long time, because, sorry, Corvus, to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
I saw your tweet at one point, Peachy, and I really, it made me think, where does magic come from, or where does it host, and what is it represented by? And I think as far as I see it, it's a question of like, can we actually say that magic changes over time, or will it always be its original state? And so saying that it's bloodstone magic wouldn't actually be true then, because then it would be something else which is more ancient. It will also it would always be like this rolling effect of it would just be magic in the end. And I think that's kind of the thing with like the narrative team, when they were saying like, we just handed an elder dragon the power of God. I think they just like implied that once it's taken over by something, by an entity, it becomes part of that entity. And so it's like now it's not god magic, now it's dragon magic, because it's inside Kralkatorrik. He ate it, and he absorbed the essence of it. And it
essentially
is now
magic is just magic, right?
Yeah,
So that's cool.
I think it's basically just like a question of like terminology. Where do you actually set the difference?
But we've also learned in season 3 that there's different frequencies of magics, as we've seen Kralkatorrik using undead, because it's got the magic of Zaitan. So there is that different types of dragon magic as well. So how is that different from the god magic? Did the like you said? I think you're right. I think that the bloodstone magic that he absorbed became, like you said, it's also terminology, became god magic, because then he was using it, and he was using his powers that he knows as a god. You know, he was using his own fiery Balthazar attacks.
Well, bloodstone magic.
He wasn't
was
attacking with
magic
bloodstone
given by
magic.
The gods
you know
anyway,
I mean?
wasn't it?
Right, yeah. The gods brought magic to Tyria. That's their magic that they gave to humans, and then it goes in the bloodstone. So yeah, I think it's a matter of terminology and the magic being, now it's going to be classified as the power of a god. This is also coming from Ritlock. So
it's a really
can we put that much stock in what Ritlock decides to call this magic?
I mean, he is a revenant, I guess. I mean, he has been to the mist. Maybe he knows stuff that we don't.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah. No, it's a really good question though, and it really made me think.
Yeah. I had many discussions with my community and many differing opinions and ideas, and so I don't think we're ever gonna get a definite answer to that. I think it's kind of what we've said. So, but it's something interesting to think about. So, and we'll see where this goes, because you know we got to bring down Kralkatorrik at some point, but we can't kill him, or can we? Are we gonna find out some other way to do it? Do we have to give him more magic so he goes to sleep? How is this going to work? So
I'll just try and put Kralkatorrik into a food coma.
Exactly. I kind of want that realization from the characters, like, we have to give him more magic. Their destruction's going to get worse, but then it's the calm before the, I guess the storm before the calm. You know, we have to give him more magic. Things are going to get worse for a bit, but then he's going to go to sleep. Hopefully. Maybe.
I think that's actually a matter of him getting all the magic. I think they go to sleep once like the biggest sources are depleted, like or like spread out, and then they're like, yeah, okay, there's only all the dragons left to hold the power. Now I might as well just go back to sleep.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how it works. But it's also kind of weird. I've always felt that they managed that topic of the story really weirdly in that like we like with Primordus, right? He's now asleep, but that doesn't exactly make sense because now we've drained all his magic. Now he should
be hungry and
He should
Right,
be awake.
right.
Yeah.
he should wake up, but instead he went to sleep, and it's
I mean, that's why he only woke up originally because he ran out of like hibernation magic, didn't he? He was like, time for breakfast.
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah.
But then you get this. But then you get this instance where everything has been branded pretty much. It's just kind of like a sea of purple.
I got murdered over and over and over in that instance. Oh my god.
Is it just me, or have... Because one of the things that I noticed about Living Story 3 and like the instances in Path of Fire was that they were tailored towards solo playthroughs. Living Story 4, or at least the first episode, the instances seem very much catered towards groups. Like they're... I don't want to say they're hard because I'll get a bunch of elitists going getgood.jpg.
I actually thought the same thing. Because I've kind of I've grown accustomed to the fact that Living Story is really easy, and so when I hit the boss at the very end, I was like, this is not that level of easy at all.
No.
Yeah.
And also, there's always like little objectives. Like, you know, in the first fight, you're fighting that wyvern, and then there's those crystals that spawn.
Yeah.
And obviously, you run around and kill them. If you're in a group,
like...
you all go off and tackle one. And in the last instance, you know, you're jumping over the platforms to get to the thing.
Right.
You're with 5 people, you can all do that at once. Like, so it does feel like they've maybe not catered towards it. They've definitely accommodated for groups. And
I have 2 really good for anyone in chat who might be going through it again for achievements or anything. I have 2 really good advices to give. Always stand on the right side of the wyvern, and in the split phases, actually kill the mobs, because the mobs that spawn won't respawn after the first phase. So once they're dead, you will not get crippled. You will not get all that weird damage. It's just the boss. But I only realized that the second time I went in, because it was like, I'm just fucking getting
The confusion stacks.
I cussed.
It stacks so hard. And I was like, and they're like, "Are you coming?" And I was like, "I will, but I might fall over and die."
See, I liked to believe that the difficulty was ramped up, especially in that first instance, because they're trying to tell us Kralkatorrik is crazy powerful, you guys. Like, this isn't just, let's go in and kill stuff. Like, this is like, he is gonna smack you down. He is gonna, like, serious business going on here. So once I got past my frustration, I was like, I'm gonna say this is a lore thing.
There's a lore
Kralkatorrik is powerful, man. Like, wow, we're in trouble.
I think actually it's kind of split in the 2. There's the lore aspect, but also like the more gradually they ramp up the difficulty, the better of a player base will you have by the end, and so the better a boss fight will we actually be able to get, just because the baseline is that much higher.
Yeah,
so
like
I really
from a design
appreciate
point
them. Yeah, exactly.
From a design point of view, like this could be like them training us, you know, just making sure people are kind of up to scratch and they've got this far so they can handle a hard final boss or something.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cool.
Is there actually any scaling involved in the instances? Because obviously they did levels, they did scaling in the past, but no.
I'm pretty sure there's no scaling in instances whatsoever in the Living Story.
Boy,
it may have changed though, but.
If you take 5 people into the cost fight, then he must go down like that, because that was an easy fight.
Yeah,
that was a disappointingly easy fight.
Easy.
I was like, that was
so
it?
Disappointing. It took like 2 seconds for me to...
I just stood there like, is there more? Because I want to stay here longer. That was really easy.
Able to defeat that guy for, you know, forever.
There's this achievement which was like, don't let the such and such champion heal during the fight. And I thought, all right, there's going to be mechanics that we have to do. And I guess if you solo it, there's all like the moldy rocks and the slime and whatever that you throw at him to break his bar. But then it was like, what was it doing? It was like a soul beast, a revenant, a firebrand, and something like with just ridiculous ridiculous CC. And like as soon as the bar appeared, it just disappeared again.
Dude, yeah,
And I was
I
like, oh.
accidentally did it. I didn't even realize. I wasn't even like, I didn't use it like consciously. I just happened to break the break bar in like a second. You know, just part of what I was doing.
They didn't want a repeat of the Soul Eater fight, I guess.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Don't get
I
me
cheesed
started.
that.
No, we've talked about that enough.
cheesed
But
You can actually throw the slime on the floor on Cos way before because the duration is so long, and it'll just break it slowly. Yeah, you won't have to do anything really. So like throw it before the bar comes up, and then you're fine.
So it just automatically slips on it. Oh,
Yeah,
easy.
exactly.
Too easy.
Pretty funny.
That
I was
such
actually
a cool-
surprised that
so
you
cool to
mentioned
see it.
Cos there, because that felt like a spoilerish moment. That was such a big moment for me.
Yeah,
like,
it was so.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there was one there.
Well, we've started talking about the story. I didn't actually call a spoiler alert, but you all should know that we're
Yeah.
talking about everything. I should have said this at the beginning, actually, but the only thing we're not like spoiling or talking about today is the raid. We will talk about the raid, basically just when you walk in and what you see, because anybody can do that. But anything after like the first boss, we won't talk about today, because I don't know anything about it, and I don't want spoilers. We'll talk about it down the road, though.
You don't know anything about the second half of the raid.
No, I don't know anything past. I've heard things, but that I won't say. But yeah, I've heard it's amazing, and I've heard I don't know anything past the first boss though.
The final. Do you ever play Doom 2? It's like that where you find like the secret head in the thing, except instead of John Romero, it's Colin Johansson.
Wait,
Rest in
what?
peace, Colin.
Did you never play Doom 2, Deroir?
No, I actually didn't. It's really bad. I never played that game. I'm so sorry.
At the end, you fight like this giant cyber demon thing. It's all like 2D sprites and stuff. But then there's a secret hidden
Cyber
boss. Oh, mate! Oh, it's great. But then there's like the final hidden boss,
Oh,
which
jeez.
is just like this really kind of like 32-bit sprite of the lead developer, and his head's just on a spike, and you just have to shoot it until it dies. It's like that's it. That's at the end of Raid Wing 5. Just
Well, now it's going to be Mike Z, since he's officially the new
Yeah,
game
it's gonna be
Oh
director.
Mike Z.
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, he was announced officially, properly as.
Actually,
Yay!
yeah, no, yeah.
That man lives and breathes Guild Wars 2, so it's good.
He's such a nice guy. Yeah.
It's good, and he's
Yeah,
super.
probably.
He's like Colin on Colin level of like nice and relatable and personable and smiley and loves Guild Wars 2. So, game is in good hands.
Can I point out something funny actually though on that train of thought? Because Mike C like he announced his things and whatnot, and then the community like complained about the mount skins again. But Mike O'Brien was the one that jumped in, and he was like, and I was like, super nice work of Mike O'Brien there to be the one to take the fall, so to speak, or like talk about it, because he was like, yeah, I'm gonna justify what I already said, so you guys can kind of do. I'm really happy that Mike C didn't go into it on day one.
Yeah, yeah, that would have sucked
on
for
Reddit
him.
and everything, and then getting fucked by the community. Sorry.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you're fine.
Potty mouth.
Yeah, that was good. It was a good AMA.
Yeah, it was.
Mike O'Brien saying that he didn't have time to put 100% of his energy into Guild Wars 2 anymore, whatever that
What
means.
does that mean?
Hint, hint,
New
maybe?
IP.
Maybe?
New IP.
I
That
doubt
mobile
it.
Guild
game.
Wars
though.
the mobile
Yeah.
game.
That mobile game. Do you know what? I found the job ad for that months and months ago, and I posted it on Reddit, and I got downvoted to hell. They're like, ArenaNet wouldn't do that. They wouldn't create
Well,
a
they were
mobile
looking for a
card
mobile
game.
developer or something.
And I was like,
yeah.
it's right there on their website. I'm not
I would
complaining.
love
I'm sure it'll be
Guild Wars
fine,
2
but
card game, though, like a proper.
collect them all.
As long
Collect,
as it's
like-
in it would have to be in parallel. We're going way off topic now.
Yo,
It would have to
Yeah.
be like in parallel of like, some major IP, not like we're going mobile and that's it,
Yeah,
We'll
Guild
sell
Wars
you
2
mobile
on
mount
mobile.
skins.
Guild Wars 2, the CCG.
I'd love
Be
to
great.
see the frame
Yes.
rate on that.
I would love a CCG. Yes.
No, it'd
No.
be so good, dude.
No, there are enough that no.
Yeah, there's enough, but they're all bad except for Gwen. So like,
Eh.
it'd be cool to have one.
The,
Gwen's
Anyway,
Yeah. Anyways.
No,
Living
So
story.
then, so we see Aurene. At the end of the first
Aurene.
instance, we see Aurene. She actually like lands and like looks at us. She's
looks like a
smaller than
dude.
I expected her to
She
be.
does look like a
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
looks like a
actually.
mount size. Just gonna
Yeah,
say.
that's it.
Don't.
He's the
I
exact
don't-
same size.
I don't think we're gonna get Aurene as a mount, but I couldn't help but
don't?
notice she's mount size.
I don't think it'll be a permanent unlock, but I definitely think we're gonna ride on her.
we
Yeah.
could yes in like an instance
In
or
a
something.
story instance,
Absolutely. I just don't think it would make any sense for you to go to Lion's Arch and see 18 Orenes standing around. That doesn't make
No, not at all. No.
So there is
Why
an
would
4,000
adolescent
gems
Oreen
be
mini
right?
though that I need.
I was there a mini already?
No, not
I
yet. I
found
don't
it.
think.
Yeah, the mini
there is a
adolescent
mini of
Oreen.
the
It's on
new
the it's for Volatile Magic, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
I think it's like 5,000 Volatile Magic and like Karma and Gold or something.
Oh, I'll have
It's
that.
125 of those Kralkatite.
Is it
the new
Crocodile
ones.
too? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 5k magic.
That's
But like, well, you say it's not worth it, but do you know how fast it is to farm? It is
Oh,
insane.
Crocodile is so
The-
easy, man.
Well, there's that, but the volatile magic, the new currency, it is stupidly fast to farm. The
Wow.
new
It gives you what,
Palawadon
like, 8
thing.
every
I've heard the
time,
meta
doesn't it?
events
there's
are
a
No, no, no.
insane.
though, isn't there?
If you do the actual meta events and you get the supply caches, you get 50 per supply cache. You can and
Damn.
people are starting doing multi.
Multi-loot,
Yeah.
So you can just jump through maps and you'll get like a 2k, 5k, somewhere
Wow.
around that.
That's crazy.
It's so crazy. You're just like stacking up on volatile magic. It goes so fast.
Why?
So like out of any currency, this is the easiest one. I guarantee you it'll be fixed. It'll be buffed
changed,
down to
yeah.
like half
Yeah.
the amount, because right now what it's doing is that it's completely tanking down the prices of the tier 6 and tier 5 mats.
Yeah.
Because you can buy them directly, and it's the most insane cash that you can buy.
So people complained in PoF of no meta events. Then they added
And
meta
now they're
events here
flooded.
that are just insanely profitable. What? I thought they fixed the
gonna get
multi-loot
changed.
thing, man. How
Yeah,
could
it's gonna
they?
get changed.
There is a
That mistake
there
again.
is an account wide it's like a weird bind of like, or cap or whatever you will call it.
Oh.
However many, you can only get so many. So there is some kind of hard cap per
Okay.
event, and then you repeat it again, and you can do it all over again.
Yeah.
But there is it's not exactly the same as like going through 50 different org based
Yeah.
things. It's
Man.
yeah.
That
It's
was
kind
crazy.
of balanced in that way, but it is definitely in for a fix, because
Yeah.
it's way too profitable right now.
Yeah. What did we think about the fact that we've got? I mean, I assume volatile magic will be constant across all the new living world. What do we think about? It looks like we're heading for more currency as well. It's like more map currency, because I got this. I was seeing stick with trade contracts, and
Trade contracts are dead, and it kills me. It genuinely kills me, because like I've been farming it, and I really like. I figured, all right, cool. We're definitely gonna be using this for something. There is nothing in this game to use it for.
Yeah.
It is a dead currency. Like the entire fire currency dead, and it like.
yeah. Well, when they fixed Serpent's Ire, and I was like, oh hey, so and the more atonement, I was like, hey, we get our easy 100 trade contracts, we get a few elegy mosaics and everything like that. I was like, right, we've got some. Hopefully, we've got some expansion-wide currencies here. Let's see if they feed it. And you're right, nothing. I mean, what you can buy, like,
You can buy minis.
you can
Minis,
buy a couple of minis, and that's about it.
I mean, you can convert them into some of the material caches or whatever.
Caches, yeah.
That's it. But they're not even like the time that you spent actually getting trade contracts, because they're super hard to get, is definitely not worth it to actually exchange it. And so there's just it's a dead currency from the get go. It's so weird. I genuinely feel like I don't know. Before this episode came out, I thought that they were actually going to put out more stuff with the living story, but they've just completely abandoned it. So the only thing left is like if they go back and completely redo this, whatever.
Put
I don't
in
know,
new rewards or
Yeah, like if
something.
they had
More
if
trade
they had
contracts.
added like more like syncs for it and like throughout season 4, it would be cool. But I mean, like I was half expecting the same thing, that like the vendors would use at least even just some, you know, like
even if it was like that
type,
combination of trade
and then
contracts.
Yeah.
like just to add something. But like the only way they can really fix this would be adding more rewards to Path of Fire, and I'm not 100% sure if
But they did that. But they already did that. But like,
yeah, but it was all tied to the elegy mosaics.
Yeah, like they need more like actual
once you've got your primary weapons, like that's pretty much it, isn't it? That's all you can do with that currency.
Yeah.
It's such a weird currency. But I like the volatile magic though. Like
I do agree with them adding a new currency to the next season, and they basically confirmed this on Reddit that it was because they didn't want people coming in with 50,000 unbound magic and just buying everything and being done. So they added a new currency, so everybody kind of has to start over. You know, that you have to play the new map, and they did the same thing for the raid as well. Now that you get gating crystals instead of magnetite shards, and for the same reason. And I totally agree with that decision.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And it brought me back to the Bloodstone Fen days when like everything just kind of exploded, and there's a lot of rewards to be had for a lot of unbound magic, and it's basically the same now. You just like stack up and get all the rewards, and now you can just start stacking up for the rest of the season, for the next I don't know year and a half.
Yeah. I need to do that because I'm so far behind on my currencies with season 3. Like I only have like 8 or 9k on band magic and a few hundred of each. I know.
Oh, man. I have less than that, dude. It's terrible.
I know.
I think I have.
Like, I've not even bought anything. I've not even bought anything.
What? Well, I've been working on Aurora,
I bought like a ton of minis in that, but obviously I think 1 or 2 trinkets.
Your priorities are wrong if you're buying the minis.
I've not bought any.
I know.
Oh my god.
I was disappointed in the new map how there wasn't like all these any back pieces or weapon skins really to buy with this new currency, because I'm used to like, you know, when we got Doric Lake, there was like all these weapon skins to get, and Siren's Landing, holy crap, like I almost crapped my pants when I saw that there was 6 new back pieces to get. I was like, are you serious? 6 new animated back pieces? I was like, what dev sat down and created these?
There's a full weapon set though.
There is a full weapon set to buy with the currency.
It's hidden right now. It's the ongoing theory now, or crackpot theory, is that it's gated behind the 7-day achievement, or the 7-day gated achievement. So you gotta go through the research period at the Astralarium of like understanding the Kralkatite in different ways.
Cool.
And then once that's unlocked, you unlock the achievement, or the collection or method of acquiring them.
So you have to go to the Astralarium every day to like study.
Yes.
That's okay. Okay.
I like that.
And
that's cool.
The first one is like it's the astral weapons, and then there's
was that bow that they showed the preview of? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then there's an upgraded version, which I don't know, it's probably more expensive, but
wow.
That's
that was a really cool.
The only reason why I know it's already in the game, where I can get behind it already being in the game, is because there is a hidden achievement. It's an unlocked what's it called? A locked achievement.
Yeah.
That says craft one of them, and it's in the actual
in the
story
API.
stuff.
Oh, is it?
Cool.
Yeah. So it's basically like just figure out how to get them. Go there every day, guys.
Awesome.
I like stuff that isn't so, you know, like scientist, like hidden stuff to find. That's really cool.
Love that. But yeah, I can't get behind the whole, like, because there is kind of a problem with like there's no real rewards from the map. At least it feels like that. Unless you consider the weapon.
But I think once you get those weapon skins.
Granted, there's only three heart vendors, and I went, you know, every time I completed it, I'm like, ooh, let's go see what they got, you know, because I'm excited to see like a weapon skin or a back piece, and I was like, there's like a mini, like there, you know, like a, I mean, the minis are fine,
like a
but
tar elemental or something as well. It's like
there is one good one. There is one good one. I've forgotten what it is.
Aurene.
The mini Aurene.
It could
and
be.
the mini costs.
The mini cost. Yeah, that was it. I was like,
that was totally the mini cost.
But while we're talking about weapon skins, would this be a good time to discuss the binding of Epos?
The Redegon. I made it immediately.
Really?
I made it immediately.
Of course, Deroir's made it immediately.
It was so amazing, though.
Oh man, so good.
It was like, okay, it had everything I wanted from a focus, except for like it also had like a giant demonic hand.
Yeah.
But like though I the only wish I had for a legendary focus was that it was a tome, and this was a giant
Oh my
floating tome
God.
in front of me. I had to have
So
it.
good, man.
I had
Now,
to.
do
Have
you
it.
main a necromancer?
No, this is on my guardian, but I can kind of get away with it. It's like I'm totally role playing this right now. Where it's like I was like, yeah, I can wield it. I'm a firebrands are like librarians,
Right?
So I can,
So you
I can
have
totally
even
I
more
can wield
tomes.
this.
It's
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's dark magic. It's like yeah, I'll wield this.
nice.
Role playing.
Are you a guardian main?
Yeah.
High five, dude! Yes.
I thought you were Revenant main, man.
Well, I kind of went away from that from quite a bit ago. I got really disappointed with the class, and then
once power got trashed.
Well, yeah, it kind of just happened gradually. It was like there's nothing really. Anyways, we're not gonna get into that. But yeah, Guardian main.
Well, nice.
So, yeah,
I was so
I had to
surprised
get
by the
that.
focus.
It was amazing.
Like,
I was just wow.
so surprised. It was just I was expecting, you know, maybe something fiery or, you know, something like that, but like it was just
It was completely
Yeah, I
out of the
don't know.
box. Like
Yeah,
completely like they.
that's it.
There's no other focus like it in the game. Like you barely identify it as a focus. It's amazing.
No.
It's truly legendary. It's a really good one.
It came, the patch notes came out when I was still at work, and I was like, "What's this? What's this precursor code?" It was like Ars Goetia, and then someone said, "Oh, the legendary is called this," and so I was typing like Epos into Wikipedia, and it turns out he's like one of the 72 demons of hell or something.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm like researching all of this at work, and boss is standing over my shoulder, just going, "What the hell are you doing?"
Researching demons.
We need an intervention.
It's like I'm
You're
doing
into the occult, Alex.
IT. Sure.
Researching demons.
Researching demons.
Are there any footfalls on it? Because I was like,
Yeah, there is.
"Oh, that's quite
It's like
intense
it's
for
like
an
it's like a purple bubblish effect.
Nice.
So it's like super intense, like visual effects and
Yeah.
and footfalls.
It's a pretty intense. Like when you draw it, I actually thought it was gonna be this green glow that you see when you kneel at Grenth, but it's not. It's like a green. It's a purple swirl around your body, and then you pull out the tome, which unfolds in front of you, and the hand just like takes shape. But yeah, and then the footfall is like purple bubbles. It's
cool.
really cool.
Nice.
I love the
'Cause I have
thematics
the
in
minstrel.
general of like yeah, no, I'm not gonna wield a cock in my hand, sorry.
Now
Sorry.
then.
I have the minstrel, and they recently kind of updated the effect, so it has like a draw.
That was ages ago, man. They did.
Was
they
it?
did. Yeah, they did. It was like
He's
2
still
years
proud
ago,
of it, Alex.
because they did.
Shut up.
Let him be
I'm trying to
proud.
justify all that
They
time
did
I
flame,
spent getting the
they
minstrel.
did Flame
Leave me alone.
Seeker at the same time, and I think they
Yeah.
did. I think they did something else. Did they do something to the Moot as well? I can't remember.
I don't care. It's not a real legendary, so.
It's not a real.
But like, I just think
They did actually do something.
it's quite
really-
intense.
Yeah.
It's really that's a really intense effect for like an offhand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess they don't really have to update the old ones because the newer ones are actually harder to get, or you know, more time invested, I think. So that's fair enough. But it makes me excited to see things like the Warhorn and whatever else they can do.
We've got
you
what?
know.
Scepter, Longbow, and Greatsword left.
Greatsword.
So hyped
Dagger?
for Scepter.
Oh wow. Yeah, daggers.
Can't wait for
Dagger
Scepter.
as well.
I thought it was quite amusing that the community was so hyped for a new longbow.
Oh, I can't
And,
wait
like,
for Longbow,
everyone
dude.
was like, "Oh my god, longbow!" And then it came out, and thankfully, like everyone seems to love the Binding of Epos. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they would have been like, "We want our longbow."
We got the focus. We wanted the Longbow, yeah. Oh, I can't wait for Longbow.
I can't
Longbow and
imagine the
Greatsword
Longbow's
is
gonna
my
be that
two
good.
favorite weapons. I can't wait.
I think
playing longbow
and
Dragon
shortbow,
Hunter?
like
Yes. I still,
I mean-
I love my Firebrand and I play it in raids, but for anything open world or solo play, Dragon Hunter all the way. You can't beat it.
It
Grab
is.
that bow.
It is
The
ridiculously
mobility,
over.
the range, it's just beautiful. It just feels so good to play. I loves it.
Without spoiling anything, Dragon Hunter is actually really effective in the new raid.
Nice. Nice.
Not with the bow though, but yeah.
Not with the
Oh.
bow,
Dragon
but
Hunter.
with those AoEs.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
The
playing.
massive power spike is what you want. Yeah.
Ah, nice. Sweet. I don't have to be the druid. I'd be like,
Carrying on with the story.
Lol,
because
druid.
Fell off the story a wee bit.
we did.
Yeah.
What happens after Remnant? Oh, you end up in Istan, and then everyone's like, "Make me beer," which
Make it
That was
make me right.
Go make the grog.
Go make the
That
grog.
was such a slow part of the patch.
But actually, you can actually pay to win that, which gives you
You can, which is interesting. You can
which
just
gives
give
you
the
a
guy
real sense of pride and
crapatite.
accomplishment if you do it.
Wait, really? What?
Yeah, if you,
Yeah,
if you
you
talk
can-
to the guy, you
yeah.
bring the ingredients. to
It
you.
was like super expensive for that
Yeah,
one
it's
of that.
really
For
expensive.
one of them,
if
I
you
bought one of them. I had enough to buy one because I don't know. I was like, what am I doing? You know, I was like, I don't want to go
Yeah,
around
yeah.
and get all these things.
It took like 5 minutes though to get them all. I don't know
It,
why
it
they
wasn't.
added
It
that
wasn't like it
there.
was hard. It was the open world fetch quest part of it,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
they have. But it wasn't like go around and do all the hearts or something. You did have to do
Yeah,
one of
no,
the hearts. The
fine.
one at the Astralarium, you did have
Just
to
the
do
one.
to like prove that you were
To
against
get in.
Joko by putting books away.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh man.
And those books, oh my god, there were some like I was like every single one the titles I read, it was like costs, you know, stuff about costs and
They added
nightfall
the
and
UI to it with a patch, a fix.
now,
There's actually books now.
you can open the
Oh
books.
really?
The ones that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
collect at
it's
the
actual
Astralarium
book
you can
UI.
open as well. I know there's ones for the collection that you can open, but every one at
way.
the Astralarium
There's,
you
like-
can also read.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's like 7 books that you can actually collect and like hold.
Yeah.
Those have the new UI, and all the books in the Astralarium you can
Oh,
pick up, put in their
yes.
place,
That's
and you
Cool.
can read
When
them.
was that added with the patch? Because I
It
didn't.
It was like a patch.
It was
fix.
bugged
It
on
wasn't
day
even
one.
in the note.
There was.
I
It
was
wasn't
like,
even in
oh,
the
what?
note.
I can't read any of these.
I
Like,
was so
kinda-
disappointed
Yeah.
because there's one about Gwen, which is my Guild Wars obsession. And so I was like, I saw a Gwen Thackeray book, and I was like, ah! So I went and I ran and I grabbed it, and I was like, if I put it away, maybe I can read it. And so that I found the shelf where it went, I put it away, and I'm sitting there like spamming F. I'm like, read it! I can't read it! I was so sad.
I hope you
But
saved
it's
it though.
cool.
But the interface was actually made by a long-time supporter of
Yeah.
of the channel, by a chap called Chris, who I think me and
Oh,
Corvus.
was it
we've known-
Chris?
Black Lion Chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Chris who made the interface.
He came to my house. That's
Yeah,
it.
there's a chap called Chris who I think we met at the Heart of Thorns party, didn't we?
Yeah.
And at the time he'd like accepted a job at ArenaNet, and he was in the process of like getting all his visas and stuff in place for his family. And he's actually, I believe, he's responsible for the look on the Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire launcher as well.
Yep.
So I think that's
Yeah.
all his work as
Yeah.
well, and he's
super
done
cool.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's on
he
that Black
gave
Lion
me
chest.
his bass guitar when he moved to America. Because he
Oh,
couldn't bring it with him.
no way. Dude.
Yeah.
And another electric and an amp as well. So that's cool.
Yeah.
It was neat hanging out for a bit. But yeah, so
Nice.
it's really good work. I need to check that out then because I haven't seen that new UI at all.
So far there's only one of the books that you can like scroll through. All the other ones just have one page. But I mean, that's cool.
It's a start. It's a start.
Yeah,
They gotta
the-
start somewhere they can expand on it, hopefully in the future.
That's
It's
the thing,
only
because like
the,
Guild Wars 1 had better book UI. Like,
Yeah. The cost on cost extended version. That's the one that you can scroll through. There's like 5 pages. It's, like,
Yes.
it's a pretty
That's cool.
interesting read.
But Guild Wars 1 only had the book interface towards the end of its life, like when
Yeah.
when you had to start replaying it.
Yeah, it was like
it had
somewhere
like
in
the
Eye of the
page
North.
turn effect.
It
and
did. You
like-
could turn the
Yeah.
pages. There was
So cool.
pictures. So hopefully Guild Wars 2 will upgrade it. I'm very, very happy that they're going
Yeah.
this way because that's something we wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
Lots of lore nerds.
Yeah. If we're talking about quality of life stuff, do we want to talk about the keyring? very briefly?
Keys are in the
And
wallet.
essentially just kind of like smile for a couple of minutes.
It actually,
Keys.
I may be the only person who actually doesn't like it.
Really?
What?
Yeah, because it kind of annoys. The thing is like I've always had this like attitude of if I have keys, it's basically just wasted materials that I could have. So I always go and use the keys. So I don't really have anything to
right.
spare. But
Mm.
and so now I don't even have that overlook of how many keys I have unless I open my wallet and like scroll down. And
You don't
find
have
the
that
actual...
quick glance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't see. Oh, I have 7 left or something. I can go
Mhm.
open the chest. I have to like scroll through and like. I don't know. I just actually find it annoying.
No, that's
was annoying
understandable.
to
That's
me.
understandable because there's that item, the matter converter, where you can get one of the currencies every day for free.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I logged in and I did that, and I usually look at how many I have because I used to have the Heart of Thorns currencies in my shared inventory slots. And so I used to look and see, okay, which one am I, like, do I only have a couple of because I want to be able to open the things in my home instance. And I was like, oh, I don't have that quick reference anymore of which one I need until I will go to my home instance and realize I can't open one of them. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
but
it
it's
could be kind
amazing.
of easy to fix though. It could be kind of easily fixed though. Like if you just had the
If they put it on
key-
the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. The key
Yeah.
like beside the currency on the map.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like top.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Top quality.
It's annoying having to go through my inventory and like add everything to my wallet.
Yeah.
It was only
Never
like 6 or
happy.
7 items. So
Never happy, are we?
it's not like when they added the stuff to the material storage and you had to go through your entire bank and see
Oh
what
my
was
God, yeah.
consumable or bankable.
But yeah, I
Good things
thought that
though
was
good
freed up a
times.
lot of inventory space.
Yeah. So what happens after you fight? Like the whole idea of the story is that you kind of get in. You have to bribe the pirates with rum to get information to break a dude out of prison, who will lead you to
Foreigner.
somebody. To oh yeah, who will lead
Ultimately,
you
we're going to
Foreigner.
Foreigner, the first city.
Yeah.
Which they
And,
use oh god, such Nightfall vibes,
Yeah.
and throwbacks in this. Oh my god!
When I saw those inside Foreigner, when I saw the
Yes!
bells drop
Oh, the
down,
bells.
I had a moment of just like instant flashbacks. Like
Yes,
what?
yes.
It was just overwhelming. Like
Oh, it was
my
such
God.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
But then we're using the new techniques, like with the raptors, to get
The
over it.
raptors,
And,
yeah,
it was so good. I'm so glad they kept those in there because that was something I completely forgot until I saw it, and I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because it was
I mean,
Such a beautiful. That whole instance was so pretty. Like the design there, like of
Yeah.
everything, it was so cool.
It
There's such a
was-
good
yeah.
sense of scale as well. Like it felt so big.
It did. I wonder when they go back and they redesign these places that were very prominent in Guild Wars 1. I wonder if you want to have those callbacks to it, right? Like they
Yeah.
had the bells coming down. That was obviously a callback to Guild Wars 1. I wonder if if some of the designers have the mentality, because some of them worked on Nightfall. They were
Yeah.
there, you know, they designed Nightfall, so now they're kind of designing these places again. I wonder how much of it is like, I wanted to do this in Guild Wars 1. This is kind of like how we envisioned it, but the tech wouldn't allow us to make all, you know, like, because there was
Yeah.
big chasms and, you know, waterfalls and, you know, obviously so much more grand than it was in Guild Wars 1. And I wonder if it's like, this is how I envisioned it. And now I get to actually design
Yeah.
it how
Like
I
fully
wanted to design
realized.
Farther.
Yeah, that's a cool thing to think.
I was a
about.
little disappointed with Kamadan or Palawadan,
Palawadan.
which I laughed
Palawadan.
my absolute head off when I saw Palawadan,
it was-
Jewel of Istan. I was like,
It was kind of nice, like running through. I thought, and I was like running through. It's like, oh yeah, the bit where you like go to the dudes for help, and like, and it's like Varish is a bad person, and they're like, nah. And then you kind of like, and then you can like run down the steps. It's like, oh my god, I remember running down these, and then idling here for hours.
That's what I was looking for, and that's why I was disappointed. And maybe I just didn't have the right orientation to kind of like see it, but I was looking for something that I recognized. I was looking for, because Kamadan to me, you start and you want to go over to the storage and where everybody's selling stuff, so you go down the stairs, across the plaza, and up the stairs, and there's the storage in Guild Wars 1. So I was kind of looking for that place specifically. Like I wanted to stand somewhere and go, oh, I recognize this. And there
think
wasn't
it's-
a lot that I recognized. I understand that it's built up, and now it's Palawa,
Yeah.
you know, Joko built everything up, but I
think
didn't
part of
feel
it's
that.
from perspective, because when you fast travel into Kamadan in Guild Wars 1, you actually start just before you go down the steps where you
Yeah.
have to go up again.
Yeah.
And the first time you go into Kamadan as well, you come in from, is it not Champions Dawn. That first little starter bit where you end up doing the same thing, going down and going up before you get into the main place. I don't know. I thought it was relatively faithful to the original. But you know, it's the same kind of thing. Like 250 years have passed.
Yeah, and I'm being nitpicky. But I wanted that sense of nostalgia, that I didn't get it.
Yeah. But
not enough spam. Needs to be
not enough spam.
Spam.
Not enough trade spam.
Spam it in.
Yeah, it was cool, and there was the not the Astralarium, was it the Hall of Justice or something in Guild Wars 1? The building where you fight Amala is as part of the meta.
The Mordant Crescent Great Hall.
Yeah, what was that in?
I don't actually remember.
I don't know what that was
I'll
originally.
have to Google it.
But
that was cool, and it's really funny if you like. I mean, oh my god, that's brought. I've put map of Istan, and that's brought up a little small village in Spain. Yeah. But there's but if you do the meta event in there, you can't hang around because it
boots you.
It
Yeah,
does.
it boots you.
It's so dangerous, yeah.
It just starts chucking out all these poison fields, and
You die.
and then eventually like arrow carts just come out from everywhere.
Yeah, same with
The-
Palawadon.
The best part is like in the Great Hall, it's the worst because like the best part is when it ends and you're like running around getting all the chests and you're mounted up or whatnot and you don't have the bunny on and the timer hits 0, the doors just close on you. There is no way out. You are gonna die here. You can't swap to the bunny. There's nothing. You just embrace it. Just die.
It's the Sunspear Great Hall, apparently.
Right, the Sunspear Great Hall.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So, oh my god, just looking at the original Guild Wars 1 map, it's like, oh my god, it's the Astralarium, and then Champions Dawn, and then Spamadan, and then, the docks, and then Charbik Village, which...
Yeah, so many memories.
Yeah.
They did a good job with
Yeah.
the map. Having paragons and dervishes everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
so
And how
good.
they swap gods, like you can see them on their icons, like swap. That's so neat.
Oh,
Such a cool
pretty
ride.
great callbacks.
Do you think we're going to get Dervish and Paragon in, Dervish or Paragon in an upcoming expansion release?
As an elite spec,
I think
as
somebody is going to be using the weapons. Like the
Yeah.
spear is going to be used like that, like
Javelin.
thrown.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a javelin.
javelins.
Because now they have the animations anyways. But
Right? Yeah, they put it in the
I don't think
animations.
it's actually going to be called that. I think
No,
it's going to
me
be
neither.
called something else.
They won't ever add new professions, but they could add. Sorry for the puppies. They could add new weapons. I still think they could add new weapons that elite
Definitely.
specs could have.
Yeah.
So the javelin, which they did call the spear in Guild Wars 1, even though it was a javelin.
A javelin.
So they could add javelins. They could add scythes very easily. So especially like you said, they have the animations, the Paragon throw animations, which makes me very excited because my secondary
already
class in Guild Wars 1 was a Paragon, so I have a soft spot for the Paragons.
We already got two scythes in the game, 2 extra scythes
Yeah.
in one patch.
Yeah.
One looks more edgy than the other.
One looks
Super edgy.
One is the
One looks
most
like
edgy
it's
thing I ever
designed-
saw.
One looks like it was designed by a game company that rhymes with
With what?
You cut out.
Lizard.
You cut out for
Oh.
a second.
lizard.
With lizard, I
Oh.
agree. The green one, right? It looks
green
so.
It's actually, I have to say this aloud. I'm not gonna spoil anything for the raid, but I have never in my time of playing Guild Wars at all had as much of a feeling that this was World of Warcraft.
Oh
Really?
wow.
Oh
Genu-
yeah.
It genuinely felt like World of Warcraft. I was getting the whole Lich King vibe
Wow.
so hard.
What,
That's
that last-
that's quite cool though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Cool.
it was just like mind blowing.
Hey, some of
Yeah.
the best things they've added, features and things have been obviously inspired by other games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, more power to
I
them.
think that's the nature though. That's like the nature of good competition in like a genre or an industry. Like they kind of support each other. You know, like something. Some company makes an innovation and then it gets adopted, and
Yeah.
it just makes every game better essentially.
Yeah.
I just want
So
to remember that
I think
Micro,
that's cool.
And someone to remember, Mike O'Brien, you know, started his career working for Blizzard and
that's
doing
true.
stuff for World of Warcraft and that kind of thing. So you know,
Yeah.
there's all those influences there. But, so then that happens, and then
Cost.
Then Cost happens, and he's like, "Cut this jibber jabber."
They even like they hinted at it going into that
movie.
cave because they had the posters on the wall like, "Don't let this guy out, this blowhard, like please, we don't want to deal with him." They had all these like signs and everything. I didn't see it coming at all.
No, me
until
neither.
I got into the instance. It was so great.
Such a cool dude.
And then such a disappointing fight.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah,
So easy.
he's bragging about it, especially if you read the cost on cost extended edition beforehand and everything. He's just bragging about all his prowess with the sword, and he's such amazing. Nobody has ever beaten him. Blah blah blah. And then you go in, fight's done in 10 seconds, and you're like, "What? Okay."
Yeah, doesn't he say like? Because you're told that he was like banished there essentially, right?
Yeah.
And then I think when you talk to him, he
exiled
talks about how he
himself.
decided to do it himself.
Yeah. I just like, really?
Yeah, sure, me.
Of course you did. Mate.
He was trying to
true
find
character.
as an awakened, he was trying to find loopholes. They talked a lot about that. Like they told him to do this, but he's like, "But you didn't tell me not to do this other thing." And so they're like, "So we found a way to make him stuck in this cave by telling him to forever defend this one cave, so he couldn't leave." It was good.
And then after that, suddenly, friggin' story quality out of nowhere.
Oh
Like
man.
after that point, suddenly it's like two halves of a game. Like you've got the first kind of half was kind of sort of like general Guild Wars 2. Oh, we've got to go and investigate some stuff and find the bad guy and that kind of thing. And then someone suddenly decides they should put a bit of effort into writing the story. And then, Jesus, what?
The last instance was
right.
phenomenal.
Huge step up in quality.
I think the last two actually. The one where you jailbreak the.
The jailbreak! Oh, that was so good.
Well, which in my group we actually did too fast, so we missed the achievement for beating the guy on the stairs. We got our gear and then we just ran out. And then for the rest of the instance. Yeah, and for the rest of the instance, the guy was just like having a conversation with himself, like 2 floors down.
Nice.
That was cool. I love stealth games anyway, so being able to sneak past everyone, like that was super fun for me.
I started beating them before I realized
you're in
could sneak past them.
handcuffs.
Oh.
You're in handcuffs and you have to walk slow. And
Yeah,
it's
with
like,
your head down.
The RP walking, yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool.
He knocks you out. They take your armor.
And is it like profession based when you have to break out?
It's profession specific when you break out.
Like I summoned the flesh worm and then did the teleport thing to it, like to get out of myself. It was so cool.
That's pretty cool. I was wondering about that actually, because I only did it on Guardian, and I saw the hammer you pull out, the spirit hammer,
Yeah, I saw
to
that.
knock the lock off.
That's neat. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I explode. Yeah. You summon one and then you do the whole traversal, necrotic traversal. I think it is where you teleport out to it.
That was such a good mechanic there. I mean,
Yeah.
because it makes you feel your profession. Even if they strip you of your armor, they strip you of your weapons, they strip you of everything. It's just you, but you're still powerful. And
It's
that's what I
actually
liked about it.
really-
And when I saw the Guardian Hammer, because the Guardian summons a Spirit Hammer, which is a utility skill. It's not connected to like a weapon. So it's like you're like, I still have these powers, even though, you know, and as a necromancer you have the power to summon minions. That's not connected to, you know, like a weapon or your armor. I know Mesmer's just blink out.
Just blink out.
Like, why would you try and imprison a Mesmer anyway? You just blink anyway.
I think Rangers use like use a war horn or something to like summon like bugs that like eat the bars or lock or something.
That's really cool.
Wow. Okay.
I did
That's
it.
cool.
I gotta
was-
see all the ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in someone else's instance, so I didn't get to see what Revenant does, which was a shame.
NGs look around and create a makeshift lever to open the
That's
door.
quite cool.
Nice.
So cool.
Oh yeah, Warrior, you go Super Saiyan and just break down the door. You like build up your rage and then just like knock
Doesn't
down the
care.
door. Doesn't
Nice.
care. Go right through.
It's actually really funny when they take away your weapons and not everything during the cutscene, and you're like stripped of everything. If you're wearing or if you're wielding any legendary,
Yeah.
you have
I had my
Oh,
my
really?
arm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
the
the
whole-
funniest thing with the
What happened, son?
finding of Ippus. The
This
still,
giant hand.
you still have the hand and the book right in front of you. The tome is all in front of you. It just looks so weird. I was like, what? You watch the cutscene because it basically doesn't go away during the entire cutscene. So the book is right in front of you when like you wake up, like in the cutscene kind of deal. You just see that floating book.
Nice.
I like how they're doing that more of this like first person view, like when we had that.
That's
fight
a
with
really cool
Balthazar.
effect.
Yeah.
It makes it so much more like cinematic and than kind of janky animations. You know, you're just kind of a fixed camera. Like it's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, you kind of escape, and then suddenly out of nowhere, the first time I've ever cared about Timmy.
Oh my god!
Whoa,
right?
that was so unexpected.
It felt so.
Well, that's
edgy.
what got us
Like,
knocked
she's
out.
really-
What got us knocked out outside was she started talking. Hey, Commander, and they're like, "Who are you talking
You're like,
to? What's
yeah,
going
shut up.
on?"
Shut up! Shut up!
So then they
shut up,
knocked us
Timmy.
out, and then we don't have the communicator, and then we hear Timmy's voice, and
Man. The
best
performance
voice
was so
acting,
good.
the best voice acting
Yeah.
I've heard from that voice actor. I mean, I felt like
There's
my
a lot
heart
of
dropped
She's
for
amazing.
her. She's like,
really,
"He's
really good.
coming, Commander, where are you? Help me!" It's like, oh my god.
Yeah. If it had been up to me, I would have just been like,
Yeah, I was
Oh,
about to say.
no, sorry,
I think
Timmy.
if Inks when Inks goes through it, he's just gonna like, yeah, I'm just gonna end the story here. Never gonna,
No,
never
no.
progressing.
let's just say Joko wins, and
I'm just gonna let her die, I guess.
But yeah, I
And,
mean, combined with like, combined
Oh,
with a really fantastic final story instance, like genuinely fantastic. Like,
So that's when you actually go to Foreigner. You get you break out of the Great Hall, with what's his
Zaim.
Zaim? Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
He takes you to Foreigner, and you get past the big bells and everything. You go in with Ritlock and Kanak and Zaim, all the while kind of hearing Timey and like he's coming, he's getting closer, and then finally no, and then you know that he's. And we do know at the end of the previous instance that it's Joko, because we actually hear Joko on the comm. And then, we get in there. We find her hair bow.
yeah,
You can take the hair
Which
bow. It's
there's an
actually an
achievement for.
it's actually an achievement to
Yeah.
give it back to her at the end. And you get to a point where you Kanak is setting bombs to get past
Oh, yeah.
a certain area. And then a cutscene,
And then
and Bram
Look.
and Rux
Oh,
show up and save the day.
I was playing it on Discord. I was playing it with my girlfriend, and she's not gone through Living World 2, Heart of Thorns 3, or Path of Fire yet. And
Right.
so when the ceiling came crashing down, and the other four of us just went, and we saw him, and we were just like, oh, for it's like, and that is a true example of Deus Ex Machina in Guild Wars 2.
like it's purest.
Because Braum, and
They
like,
explained it
they
though.
kind-
It-
yeah,
the
they
ti-
explained
now
it
the
really
timing,
well.
the timing was very convenient, but they explained it. He didn't just show up out of literally nowhere in the middle of the desert.
But he did though. Let's be honest.
It was because of the portals. So these
Yeah.
portals opened up. We said, "Hey, let's go through it to kill the source of where these awakened are coming out." And yes, the timing was very perfect. But I thought it was a great entrance. It wasn't just like we go
Yeah.
walking, hey, what's this portal? And then Bram and Rox came through. I
Honestly-
think this was a much more cinematic, epic way of reintroducing them.
I wasn't mad about it. I was actually more happy to see like Rox than I was disappointed to see Bram. Like it was fine, and I'm glad they didn't just suddenly brush over. Like I like how he still kind of like annoyed at us. I think that's fine. I think it's better if they follow the arc and resolve it than if he suddenly appeared and it was forgotten about.
Yeah.
And you know, I would have rathered something else. I don't think I felt like I needed his help. Like it didn't feel like I needed.
It's so weird when you go in. The reason why he can do the thing with the shield and stuff is because he's a guardian. And when you go in as a guardian, you're just standing there like, "Oh, thanks, you took my job," kind of deal. I could have technically done the same.
He's very obviously a dragon hunter, which made me very happy. So sorry, I'm biased. As a Guardian, that was a very exciting moment for me.
It was sweet to see him
for
care
Bram
about
since Heart of
Tybee as
Thorns
well.
to become a dragon
What was
hunter.
the silly cast? Was it Sanctuary? Was it Sanctuary that he does, or is it
The bubble?
Yeah,
No, it's just like what's it called? Shield of Absorption.
that's the one. Yeah, and I one of the guys in my party was Guardian. He was, "Hey, stop that! It's my job."
Stop that.
I think
loved
it's
it. I
it
loved
was
it.
nice to see him so protective of Tybee as well. You know, like
Because
they still have that.
that was the throwback to season 1, season
Yeah.
2, where him and Tymee were very, very close.
Very close.
And so he hears,
So
you
it
know,
was
Tymee's in
nice.
trouble. I'm going to go save her. And granted, I do think that the role that Bram had in that final instance, both saving us, going with us to rescue Tymee, being our partner in the final fight, was very much them trying to redeem Bram's character, because there's a lot of hate for him after that one
Yeah.
episode. I loved every bit of it. I know there's a lot of people who still are very, you know, against Bram, but I
don't know. It's a meme.
liked it.
Like, so I can get behind the meme, but like, I don't like genuinely think he's a bad character or anything.
No, it was kind of cool because I can see where they're going with it, sort of doing the let's get the band back together kind of thing. Which
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's about time we're all in the same place. We actually
Yeah, for sure.
sort of tried to be a guild, and you know, maybe he's going to go. Actually, I don't want to be Destiny's Edge. I want to join. What are we this week? Dragon's
Dragon's
Watch. That's
What
the
are
one.
we this week?
the
Yeah.
trombone.
So I mean,
gang.
So as long as because we know that Cass and Marjorie are about,
yeah.
Somewhere.
and
Somewhere.
which by the way, I was playing something. I think it was it pop. No, it was Amala. Amala is the same voice actress as Marjorie. She's got that. she's got that
Sidra,
really-
the pirate captain. I don't know about Amala, but definitely the pirate captainess
Is it
is
Sidra?
Marjorie.
Or I can't, yeah, one of them has
Wasn't
like
it
that
Syl?
really.
Or is it? Am I? Wait.
Is that what?
Wasn't it
The
Syl?
Sly. Something the Sly.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
well,
Never mind. I completely
I can't remember
forgot.
her first name.
If there's
But yeah.
anything I don't know, it's names.
Yeah, I think.
But
it's
one of them had this that really smoky Marjorie voice, and I was like,
Mm.
I like that. No, it is. It's kind
That
of got, like,
smoky voice.
it is. It's still very. It's still. She's still got that kind of private investigator noir 1950s
Yeah.
Yeah.
voice, even though she's
it's
not done
super
that
good.
for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, so I think
that's a really keen eye or ear. I didn't even
Mm.
notice
It was
that.
super cool with the talking about the portals thing, like this idea
Yeah.
that like our presence in Alona has been considered an act of war, and now Joko's essentially sending his army to Tyria. Like that's such a cool
It is.
play. I like this dynamic, and I like what it implies because it might mean that maybe there's a map in Tyria again, or maybe they'll add like a current event, which is these portals or something.
I hope
and,
so.
Like
Because
I
we
love
shut
it.
down
That
some
would be
of them,
super
but it's
cool.
not like we killed the source of it. We're not,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
he still has the knowledge of the inquest, and that's what it was. We
Yeah.
got attacked by tons and tons of little inquest Asuran undead, and he.
I mean, let's be fair. He's
when
not
he
wrong.
awakens,
Just
he
big
absorbs
as
their
well.
knowledge. So he absorbed
It
the
gives-
knowledge of the inquest and used their technology, and apparently knew Asura technology, like upcoming experimental technology, to open Asuran portals anywhere. It doesn't have to be built on the other side. So
Yeah.
this in itself is like, whoa,
Huge
like huge
deal, yeah.
information, and now our enemy is using it to attack Tyria. It's
and I like it
huge.
because it gives us proper stakes in this. Because like, yeah, Joko's a bad guy and it's whatever, but like we were kind of essentially just coming there on our own interests, and then kind of got caught up in the politics there. But now it properly is like us versus them. You know, if
I mean,
he's
of course we got caught up in the politics. We did the first mission is like, so who should we
Oh, I'm just
decide
a
to?
random dude, but I'm gonna like, yeah, totally.
I mean, I have no expertise in this field. Why are you asking me? Yeah, no, go with Joko guy. Yeah, he sounds
Yeah,
cool.
sure. But it's cool. I think like it's gonna cause like a cool dynamic, and how Ritlock says like, oh, I'm gonna radio Logan and tell him to you know
Yeah.
get the pack on their fleet and on their feet,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh man, this is gonna be cool.
Gonna
I
be
just
epic.
I really like this.
It's actually showing the downside of us being this all well-known throughout the world Dragon Slayer, God Slayer. Like, it's starting to come back on us. Like you said, you know, now we're making decisions, political decisions in other lands that we don't really know that much about, and now it's, you know, and this Joko guy, okay, and now we're causing problems for Tyria because, you know, we had a bounty on our head, you know, for the first half of the story, and it's Joko's pissed, and so now we're fully involved in Alona.
Should have just let him out. Like, why? I was hoping for a choice. If we would have just let him out, made
a pact with him. Hey, I'll let you out if you let me use your armies to defeat Balthazar, which Joko was against Balthazar because he was with him, but then you know, Balthazar imprisoned him, so obviously then the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah. So if we would have just worked with him instead of left him in the cage, none of this would be happening.
I mean, that would be another deal with the devil, I guess, and he would probably, I guess. Anyways.
That's true, because he's just kind of bent on world domination. He's like, well, you know, because I got dissed by the hero of Tyria, guess that's going to be my next conquest.
He's playing the long game. He's like, I'm immortal anyways, I might as well just play.
I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. Sorry, 2 ticks.
Bye. Sure. Save the cat.
Nice one. Then the fight against Scruffy.
Again.
It was,
taking down Scruffy. Poor Scruffy, man.
Yeah, that was actually really weird. I thought it was a really cool fight though, but it once again it got me with I didn't expect the level of difficulty.
It took a while. It was quite a slow fight. I mean, it was intense and difficult, but it was kind of more just like spongy. Like it felt like it took maybe a little bit too long.
Well, when you had when you did it solo and you had to go and get all 6 of those things, that was a little like, okay, finally got the last one. Other than that, I think it was fine. And at the end, it just starts going crazy, and she's apologizing because she's like, I put all these, like, you know, these self-destruct and these like really powerful defense mechanisms into Scruffy, and now it's being used against her friends. So I love battles where the NPCs talk during the battle. And so, you know, she's literally inside this thing you're fighting, dying, and it was really good.
I like the mechanic where you're like sucked into the static things. You know how like your movement, you get slower and then you get sucked in.
They've been using that a lot with the with the getting like the tornado mechanic, I call it.
Yeah, they're using a lot of the new mechanics that they have in both the living story and the open world. I feel like the raid team has kind of been in over this.
Yes, definitely.
It feels like that because they're using a lot of the same mechanics and tells and stuff. It's a lot of the same visuals that you see and effects.
Ever since raiding became a thing, I've seen it seeping more and more and more into, as it should, I think, not the difficulty of the raids, but the mechanics, because they're really good mechanics. They're putting those more into the open world bosses and the living world stuff, and I love it.
The only thing I really hated about, I'd like go back just a single step, about the fight with Scruffy, is that there are no when you're doing the achievements, if you have to do it again, you can't just like go to the final boss fight and then fight it.
You have to do the entire
you have to do the entire thing. And the worst part was like I thought I had everything, and then I realized there's a secret, there's a hidden achievement. So I was like, no, I gotta go back and do all that for 1 AP.
What's the hidden achievement?
It's throw the static thing at one of those swirly things, the tornado, whatever.
Right, yeah.
Throw it from a distance.
Use the skill too.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. But you gotta not just use it like at a close distance. You have to actually use it at some distance. I don't actually know what the requirement is, but. Yeah, I still have yet to do that. I cannot be asked to go back.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like for a single AP.
I actually right after the cutscene with Bram, I started running the wrong way accidentally, and I ran out of the instance.
No, did you get kicked?
When I got kicked from the instance, and I was like, son of a. No. But when I went back in, when I continued it, I just saw I had to watch the cutscene again.
It was like a checkpoint.
There was a checkpoint. So and they did this in Path of Fire as well. I'm loving the checkpoints for when that stuff accidentally happens. Because I happened to be in Path of Fire, too. I was about to fight Balthazar's weapon, and I accidentally ran the wrong way and went out of the instance. And then I was like, I don't want to do that whole thing again, but I didn't have to. I spawned right there again. So thank you for the story checkpoints. For stupid people like me who leave the instance.
Just run out.
So, to wrap up the story discussion, at the very end, you can talk to everybody, and there's voice dialogue, which is phenomenal at the very end of the instance. And this is where we get the information that it sounds like Joko is trying to bring back the Scarab Plague.
Yeah.
Which we
Also,
hear
he's
about.
trying to bring something.
We missed something.
The mysterious stranger.
Exactly.
Oh,
I never
right.
even. I
Forgot
saw
about
people
that.
talking about
I
that.
didn't see it
see
either.
I didn't notice
I
it
didn't
when I was
at all.
playing it.
Yeah, I noticed.
I think she appears when all the Asura are talking, and she's like talking through them. But I was so busy looking at the Asuras, I didn't see anything. I was just going around looking at them.
I
like,
saw people mention it, and I was like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Who is the mysterious figure? I have no idea. But
there's lots of theories out there about who she is. But what's interesting is I think Scarlet was introduced as a mysterious figure back on the Queen's Gauntlet, if that was the first time we saw her.
There's still one mysterious figure that we haven't actually gotten any answers to.
Where was that? Because I remember it. Where
Was that in
back in
Bitterfrost?
Silver Waste,
Oh, Silver Waste.
Silver? Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
like more than 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was like up on a cliff or something.
Exactly. He was hidden in an instance. It was like a mysterious figure.
Was it
Yeah,
G-Man?
I remember.
Yeah, and I remember, or I not remember. I saw someone recently suggest that that mysterious figure might have actually been Balthazar, which was like
Huh.
That's
what happened at
interesting.
that time. But okay, no, it's like
Curious.
speaking of mysterious figures, there's still one that we haven't seen.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Everyone
I
thought
guess-
it was E at the time, but he
Yeah.
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 But
I
he was
wonder
just
where
like-
that'll go if that
Which
goes
E
anywhere.
could still be anyone and anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've given up on the whole E thing. Like,
I think it's
Yeah.
going to be. I think it's not going to be a story thing we're going to get resolved. At least not anytime soon.
No, E? No. Just like shoot a white arrow after that.
Yeah.
That's the
It's
thing, right?
it's probably like the herald from like the guy who writes you all the fan mail when you go and do the dungeon. It's probably like the
Yeah.
same bloke, just with like a hero complex or something.
The fan mail.
just
wow,
some
I like
crazy
that.
fan who's been like writing you fan mail, and we're like, who is this mysterious person guiding us?
It's the adoring fan from Oblivion.
Oh, there you go. It's Joko's girlfriend, mysterious figure.
no, for sure.
Joko's girlfriend.
Makes sense.
Joko's girlfriend.
Which one though? Because he has the harem, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he's that whole harem. And it's not all girls. I can tell you that.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, when you're living for that long, undead,
When you're
Yeah.
dead, you've got to
Might as well
get
get
crazy.
things up a
you
little
gotta start
bit, you know?
experimenting, keep things spicy.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
See, the weird thing, the person who it potentially is actually quite a minor. Well, the speculation about who it is. I'm just doing a quick bit of googling, and she's actually like quite a minor character in Nightfall. Or it's Lonai, who's a necromancer who gives you a few quests in Istan at the beginning of Nightfall, and like she kind of
Okay. It actually looks exactly like her.
Yeah, she kind of turns up for a little bit, and then she just kind of, as far as I can remember, she just sort of like disappears. Like, so she's at the what would be the equivalent. Well, she's at the Sunspear Sanctuary.
Yeah, she's
or
apparently a Sunspear.
Yeah. So if she's an awakened Sunspear, then that kind of fits in with what was going on in the Fractal. That kind of fits in with the Sunspear Great Hall being turned into whatever the heck it is.
The Mordant Crescent Great Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
There.
It's weird, but it's kind of I really like the fan service. Well, not fan service. If they can turn it into something cool, that'd be amazing. But it's just the fact they take these very minor characters. Like there's also been a lot of speculation that it would be somebody like Maloney or I think she was the only other female here. Oh, there was Margaret, but she's getting her own thing.
We've seen Talcora. We know that she's dead at the Griffin Sanctuary.
Yep. Dunkoro's dead in
Dunkoro's in the Desolation.
Dunkoro's a dude, though.
Oh yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
But,
point.
yeah.
Well spotted. Well
So
spotted.
what if this female mysterious figure is an awakened Maloney, and somehow we can reunite her with Koss?
Now that'd be something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You
The
get like
vision that we get from Aurene.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that, but like right at the very end, you see somebody with a staff. Right before the thing ends,
It's
and I
the,
wonder if that's maybe
that is the same. It's
is it the
same.
mysterious?
Yeah, it's this mysterious figure. It at least resembles exactly that.
I'll put the link in the chat here.
it'd be cool if like Maloney did come back, because then you could have like a new Relena and Visar kind of situation with Koss and Maloney.
Yeah.
If you remember all the way back from AC story mode. If you can
Damn.
remember that, if you can remember that far back.
Oh, that's
Oh,
far
right.
back.
I wouldn't put it past them because they've been paying attention to the lore, all the throwbacks. There's a ton of devs who worked on Guild Wars 1. So yeah, you know,
That's cool.
them confirming the throwbacks and the dervishes and the lore, it's like them doing something like that, and you know, I mean, we got the underworld as well, so they've been doing more and more.
Speaking of necromancers, let's just like I genuinely actually believe it's Lonai, because the character looks identical to the mysterious figure, just more pixelated. But like, speaking of necromancers, because that's exactly the whole premise of the raid. Shall we talk about the raid?
Yes.
Or wait, I mean,
We can't talk about the last bit, can we? Even though it's the
no.
We're gonna talk
It's
about everything up to the first boss, which there's not a ton, but there is some.
Can we spoil who the first boss is?
Yeah, because you can, as far as I'm concerned, I figure most
have
people
no idea
haven't
who
gotten
it
past
is.
the first boss, but
I've
you
not
can,
actually-
even if you don't raid,
not
you
actually
can
been
literally
through it,
walk
but-
in and look at the first boss. So,
Yeah, but
Who is it?
that doesn't tell her name though.
no, it doesn't.
I'm
All
I
right,
haven't read it, right?
I'll-
And I haven't seen
I'll-
anything about this, but
I'll venture to like set the plot as spoiler free as I can, but just like
how do
set
we
the plot.
enter it? Because I couldn't
So-
see it on the map at all.
It's in
So
Lornar's Pass.
basically-
There's a statue of
yeah.
Grenth
It's
in
the
Lornar's
statue of
Pass.
Grenth.
Which
and-
is so cool that they
Yeah.
put it in Lorna's
That's
Pass.
awesome.
So you go in
That's
there,
really
and of course you can also get to it through the raid lobby.
Yeah.
But that's where it is in the world.
That's so cool.
So basically what happened is that it's confirmed, it becomes confirmed that the whole lead up, all the current events or whatever that we thought it was going to be, with the corpses all around and the necromancers, that is actually tied to the raid. And they say that like the Red Lady is looking for, or is seeking help from the necromancers of the land, the devoted people of Grenth. And then we go to Lorna's Pass, and then right beside one of the dead corpses, the portal is there. And it's basically, it's the Red Lady calling for help from mortals to come assist her in something I will not spoil. But you enter into what is the underworld and the Ice Waste. It's basically, it's the old place where we knew that Doom, the false god of death, was imprisoned a long time ago. And
That's so cool.
and you enter and things get weird, and you see this soulless horror, and it turns out the first boss is the Red Lady, and the Red Lady is called Desmina. She's the one that calls for aid. She needs help to regain Grenth's power in the domain. So she's the most devoted follower of Grenth, who basically has taken up the mantle of saying, "I will fight for you, my god." And then she's like calling all the necromancers.
That's so
And
cool.
then it's
By
just
our
dragon hunters that
necromantic
come in.
powers combined, we will
Yeah.
stabilize the underworld.
I'd really love it if you could go in with a party of 10 necromancers and she's just
Oh,
you're
yes.
necromancers. Free pass. On you go.
Free pass.
Move on.
That's so cool, man.
That would actually be funny. So yeah, that's The original god of death, not the false god. Sorry, I'm going with my terminology here.
So the
And you
original
go and
god of death.
she greets you as this mysterious spirit. Because she's kind of like a glowing kind of cloud, and she's saying, reunite me with my body, because I'm trying to hold off. There's like a barrier, and she's trying to hold off, like, the destruction of the underworld. She's like, my barrier can't hold, so, reunite me with my body, and I'll tell you more.
That's so cool.
She basically, she's mortal as well, just as us. As far as I can understand, she's mortal and from Tyria. And so she's just broken through the wall that is like into the underworld to try and do this.
Because it's becoming unstable because Granth left, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So something's happened, which is I'm not gonna.
They're not gonna.
It's good.
I know it's hard. I appreciate no spoilers, and like I said, we'll talk about all of this on a future GuildGab once more people have completed the raid. But right now it's so new.
Like, I know who the last boss is, and
don't say it.
I'm so stoked for it that
Don't say it.
I've heard the whole wing is good, and I've heard that they've kept it. They said that they wanted to have it on par with the difficulty of Raid Wing 1, which I love.
That's not what I hear they've done. Apparently, it's as hard as hell.
Yeah.
Well, I do hear that there's one encounter that's like insanely difficult.
Isn't this the first raid wing that hasn't been cleared in the first 24 hours or something?
Oh, really?
No,
Yeah,
well, technically, I mean, Spirit Veil kind of counts in that as well, unless we consider the whole hashtag world first.
Hashtag first.
Oh man, that whole drama.
I don't think Wing 2 wasn't done in a day, was it? Because Matthias was.
It was done within the first 24 hours. Yeah, it was.
Jeez.
Was this one done? This one wasn't done in 24 hours.
I think it was 36.
36 hours. Snowcrow's got in there first, didn't they?
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
I think I can still hear Teapot crying.
Yeah. He looks so sad.
I feel so
He
bad.
looks so sad. It was. I watched the final attempt when he was going at it, and he just like he was a broken man. He just like because he wasn't even happy.
Did they stay up and just?
They took a day break.
What did they do? 22 hours straight, didn't they?
Yeah.
What did they actually get? How far did they get the last boss to, like health wise? Or were they just kind of tanking on
within the 22 hours? I don't exactly know. I think it was like 50% or something.
Man,
the
that's
thing
rough.
is, like, it's a. I'm not gonna.
Well,
no, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm just gonna leave it there. Yeah.
But there's challenge modes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Screw that. I'm not doing that on challenge mode.
Gonna be good.
Nice.
I have to do it though. Oh.
Well, something interesting that I thought when you first go in, of course, you have dialogue with Glenna, and she said something like, "At least we know we're not gonna go here when we die." Something like that. I don't know if that's revealed later what she meant by that, but I found that piece of dialogue very odd. I was like, what do you mean you know you're not going to go here when you die? Is she talking about being in Asura? Or is she talking about, like, the underworld's going to be destroyed?
Go to the mists.
Or because
it's either you go to the
gone?
mists or she... The eternal...
Well, it's like what I was saying, like, with the whole Domain of the Lost thing, like... Whatever race you were, you went there. You know,
yeah, but it seems like
that was a limbo. Like if you died
a
horrific death, you went
yeah.
there to find your way.
But was it not still like was Grant's thing before he left, right? Like
it was his job.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I remember saying when we were talking about Path of Fire, like the GuildGab after that, you know, it was kind of interesting because it means that like the gods are just magical users, but maybe they still do have some power if every race goes there, you know. And it's his domain, then the kind of, I don't know, maybe...
Well, we do only see, when we see the ghosts in the underworld in Guild Wars 2, we only see human ghosts. At least of what I've seen, we only see human ghosts. Right. So it is still where humans go after they die, but we don't know about the other races. So she might have been talking about herself, meaning Asura. Don't go there. But I don't know. That struck me as an odd thing to say. I didn't know if there's
maybe the humans are just right this whole time. You know?
Maybe.
They are the true gods.
I can't wait to. I actually want to get into the. I do want to get into the old. I do want to do Raid 5 because it looks cool, and it's a big Guild Wars 1 dump for me as well. So.
Well,
Yeah,
my group is going to be doing attempt number 2 tonight. Night 1, we went in blind, and we got the Soulless Horror to 66%, going in completely blind. So, and everybody just kind of playing whatever we want. So tonight we're going to do a little bit more of planning.
The structure.
You know, now we have an idea of what we're going into. So, you know, do work a little bit more on comp and strategy and stuff. So it'll be fun. Cool. I'm really excited for a new raid wing. I still think it's some of the best content in the game. It's just designed so well, and it's so fun, and really fortunate to have a good raid group. And I wish that on everyone, because I do understand that not everybody has that, or it's difficult to find. So,
yeah, it's hard to find 5 friends. No, sorry, I'm not gonna perpetuate that meme. I'm not gonna perpetuate that meme. I'm sorry.
It's hard to find
4 more friends.
Yeah. 5 more friends.
There you go.
No, I completely understand. It is can be a pain in the bum behind.
Ding dong.
Yeah.
Ding dong.
Well, we're going to wrap up the show here. We'll do a small post show where we can talk to the audience. We'll talk to you guys here on Twitch, take questions and anything that we might have missed. But for everybody watching here, thank you so much for watching. Everyone on YouTube, thank you so much. Go down into the description and check out the links to all of our channels. And please, please, please do check out the content from Corvus, Alex, and Deroir.
Deroir
almost.
Special.
Yes.
Check it out in the Fractal of the Mist.
Yeah.
Yes, go visit him.
You can find me in the game. Hey.
Thank you so much for being on the show today, dude. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was super fun. Super fun.
Yeah, it's super good.
All right, guys.
Anytime.
Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the content, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
And